Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. Book, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, the acclaimed guide to stress, stress-related diseases, and coping by Robert Sapolsky. Imagine a zebra grazing under the endless sky of the African savanna. Life seems calm, simple, perfect, until a lion bursts from the grass. Instantly, the zebra's body transforms. The heart pounds, muscles tense, adrenaline surges. Every drop of energy is focused on one thing: survival. And once the danger passes, the zebra returns to grazing, calm, serene, perfectly balanced. Now, think about you. You sit at a desk, your phone buzzing, emails piling up, deadlines looming. Your heart races. Your stomach churns, tension grips your shoulders. But there is no lion. The threats are invisible, imagined, psychological, and yet your body reacts as if survival itself is on the line. This is the modern human paradox. Our biology, perfected for life and death moments on the savanna, is being triggered by the stresses of modern life. Constant, chronic, invisible. Robert Sapolsky, in Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, takes us deep into the jungle within, the intricate machinery of our stress response. He reveals the truth. Stress itself is not the enemy. It is a life-saving mechanism, a marvel of evolution. The danger lies in its overuse, in our endless worry, anticipation, and rumination. Our bodies, designed to sprint from lions and then rest, are now running marathons in the mind, day after day. The result? Heart disease, ulcers, weakened immunity, anxiety, and exhaustion, a silent war waged within. But here's the spark of hope. Understanding this machinery gives us power. Knowledge is the key to resilience. By learning how perception shapes stress, how control and predictability shield us, how social bonds heal us, and how mindfulness, exercise, and healthy routines restore balance, we can stop the endless sprint. We can transform stress from a silent predator into a tool, a signal that guides, sharpens, and energizes us rather than destroys us. Sapolsky's message is electrifying. Just as the zebra returns to calm after danger, we too can reclaim our peace, health, and clarity. Stress is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Life will throw its lions at you, but with awareness, strategy, and understanding, you can face them without fear, emerge stronger, and graze in serenity once again. So prepare to dive deep into the biology of your body, the psychology of your mind, and the strategies that allow humans to master stress. Because this is not just a book about stress, it is a blueprint for resilience, empowerment, and the life you were designed to live. Part 1. The Jungle Within, Understanding the Nature of Stress. Picture the African savanna. A zebra grazing peacefully under the wide blue sky. Suddenly, a lion bursts from the tall grass. The zebra's heart pounds, adrenaline floods its body, and within seconds, it's sprinting for survival. Its blood pressure spikes, muscles tense, and every drop of energy is focused on one thing: escape. Moments later, the zebra outruns the predator, returns to calm, and resumes grazing as though nothing happened. Now, imagine you're sitting in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your boss calls. Your heart races, your palms sweat, your stomach churns. There's no lion in sight, but your body, faithful, ancient, and instinctive, reacts exactly as if there were. This is the great irony that Dr. Robert Sapolsky explores in Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Sapolsky, a brilliant neurobiologist and storyteller, invites us to step into the wild, not the one filled with lions and zebras, but the one within our own minds. He begins by dissecting one of nature's most fundamental responses, the stress response. To him, stress is not the villain we've made it out to be. It's a life-saving mechanism, honed by evolution over millions of years, a finely tuned alarm system designed to keep us alive in moments of true danger. For animals in the wild, stress is short-lived. It surges, it saves, and then it vanishes. The zebra doesn't sit around afterward wondering if the lion will come back tomorrow. Its body shuts off the stress response once the danger has passed. But humans, oh humans, our gift of imagination becomes our curse. We can conjure lions out of deadlines, arguments, unpaid bills, and self-doubt. We live not in the now, but in a constant projection of fear, worry, and anticipation. Sapolsky describes the human body as a magnificent orchestra, with every organ and hormone playing a part in this evolutionary symphony of survival. When stress strikes, your hypothalamus sends a signal to your pituitary gland, which in turn calls upon the adrenal glands, the mighty producers of adrenaline and cortisol. These chemicals surge through your bloodstream, priming your body for action. Your heart races, your digestion halts, your immune system retreats, your focus narrows. In those few moments, you are no longer an accountant, a teacher, or a student. You are a creature of the wild, built to survive. But here's the twist. Our modern world offers no finish line for this race. There's no lion to escape, no safety to return to. We are stressed chronically, endlessly, relentlessly. And this, Sapolsky warns, is where the trouble begins. The same hormones that protect us in moments of danger turn against us when they stay switched on for days, months, even years. The immune system, suppressed by constant cortisol, weakens. The cardiovascular system, under unrelenting pressure, begins to fail. The digestive system, left in disarray, rebels with ulcers, irritable bowel, and inflammation. It's a silent war fought inside the body, one that millions of us lose slowly, unknowingly, and unnecessarily. Sapolsky pulls back the curtain on this biological tragedy with the precision of a scientist and the empathy of a philosopher. He doesn't scold, he enlightens. He reminds us that our minds are powerful enough to create stress where none exists, and therefore powerful enough to end it. Throughout this first part, Sapolsky paints vivid images of both zebras and humans, comparing their stress systems like two sides of a mirror. He reveals that while the zebra's stress response is a masterpiece of efficiency, ours is a masterpiece of overuse. The zebra doesn't develop high blood pressure because it doesn't spend its nights replaying the chase. It doesn't get ulcers because its digestive system isn't punished by constant tension. But we, creatures of thought, imagination, and ambition, are perpetually on edge. What makes this insight so fascinating is how it reframes our relationship with the body. We often see our stress as mental, emotional, something abstract. Sapolsky reminds us that stress is a biological phenomenon. It's the chemistry of fear and the physics of survival playing out in every heartbeat and breath. When you worry about tomorrow, your body lives as if it's running from a lion today. And yet, Sapolsky doesn't leave us hopeless. He invites us to marvel at how intelligent our biology truly is. The stress response is not a flaw. It's a masterpiece of design. It's simply misapplied in a world of alarms, emails, and obligations that our ancestors could never have imagined. Our biology hasn't had time to evolve beyond the savanna, and so the zebra within us keeps running from threats that aren't even real. In this sweeping introduction, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers challenges us to ask a profound question. If the zebra can return to peace after chaos, why can't we? Sapolsky's answer is both poetic and scientific. Because unlike the zebra, we live not in the wilderness outside, but in the wilderness of our thoughts. And so begins our journey into the biology of stress. A journey that reveals how modern life has turned a once life-saving mechanism into a slow poison, and how understanding this truth can help us reclaim our health, our calm, and our humanity. The stage is set. The zebra is calm once more, and the question lingers in the air. How do we stop running from lions that no longer exist? Part 2. The body under siege. How stress wreaks havoc on health. Now that we've seen the zebra sprint and the human mind conjure lions out of emails, meetings, and endless obligations, we step deeper into the battlefield within. The battlefield that is your body under chronic stress. Robert Sapolsky, with the precision of a surgeon and the flair of a storyteller, guides us through this biological war zone, showing us that stress is not just a feeling, it's a full-scale invasion of every system in our bodies. Imagine cortisol, the hormone of stress, as a relentless general. In small doses, it's a brilliant strategist, directing energy where it's needed, keeping alertness high, and priming the immune system to respond to immediate threats. But in the human world of unending stress, cortisol is not switched off. It lingers, pervades the bloodstream, and begins to sabotage the very systems it was meant to protect. The cardiovascular system is the first to feel the assault. Your heart beats faster, your blood vessels constrict, your arteries thicken under the constant pressure of stress. The body that evolved to handle momentary bursts of exertion now endures years of tension, and the results are predictable. Hypertension, atherosclerosis, heart disease. Your heart, once a reliable engine of survival, becomes a casualty in the war against chronic stress. Meanwhile, the digestive system suffers silently but powerfully. Cortisol redirects blood flow away from the gut, slows digestion, and alters the microbiome. Ulcers, irritable bowel syndrome, acid reflux, these are not random afflictions, Sapolsky argues, but the natural consequences of a body perpetually preparing for battle. Your stomach is a battlefield, your intestines a front line, and your daily worries are the invaders. The immune system, our body's defense army, also falters. Short-term stress can enhance immunity, helpful if you're escaping a lion, but long-term stress weakens it. White blood cells drop, inflammation rises, and susceptibility to infections, autoimmune diseases, and even cancer increases. Sapolsky paints a picture of a body caught in a paradox, always prepared to fight, but never resting, never recovering, never winning. And let's not forget the brain, the command center of the siege. Stress shrinks the hippocampus, the area responsible for memory and learning, while amping up the amygdala, the fear and anxiety hub. The result? Heightened anxiety, impaired memory, and an ever-present sense of threat. Sapolsky's research on primates shows this vividly. Baboons in stressful hierarchies develop high blood pressure, heart disease, and premature aging, mirrors of what modern humans face in offices, schools, and homes. Yet what is striking is Sapolsky's clarity in separating the physical from the psychological. Stress is not just in your head. It is chemical, mechanical, and deeply biological. Chronic stress is a silent predator, invisible but lethal, operating in your bloodstream, your organs, your mind. Unlike the lion, which attacks and disappears, chronic stress never leaves. But Sapolsky does not dwell only on doom. He emphasizes the importance of understanding this intricate machinery. Knowledge itself is a form of resistance. By understanding how stress affects the body, we can begin to disarm its destructive patterns. We can recognize the signals: racing heart, digestive discomfort, tension headaches, insomnia, and mood swings. Each is a flare shot across the horizon, a warning that the body is under siege. This part of the journey leaves us with an urgent awareness. Our modern lives are a perfect storm for stress-induced illness. Every argument, deadline, or unfulfilled expectation adds fuel to the fire. But here lies Sapolsky's genius. By mapping the battlefield with precision, he empowers us to navigate it wisely. The body's stress response is a tool, not a tyrant. Misused, it destroys. Understood, it can be harnessed. In essence, Part 2 is a wake-up call. We cannot escape the realities of life, but we can understand the ways in which stress manifests in the body. And, more importantly, we can begin to design our responses. Chronic stress is not inevitable. Ulcers, heart disease, and anxiety are not fates written in stone. The key is knowledge, awareness, and the strategies to manage the invisible lions that haunt our modern world. Sapolsky sets the stage for the next revelation. If understanding stress is half the battle, then the other half is learning to cope, to reclaim calm, and to live with the elegance of the zebra, even in a world that never stops roaring. Part 3: Mastering Stress, Coping, Control, and the Path to Resilience. Having explored the nature of stress and witnessed the havoc it can wreak on the body, Sapolsky now turns to the question that haunts every modern human. How do we stop running from lions that no longer exist? How do we reclaim the calm, the health, and the clarity that our bodies were designed for? In Part 3, he shifts from explanation to empowerment, from warning to guidance, unveiling the science-backed strategies that allow us to live with the elegance of zebras, alert but unburdened, aware but unafraid. Sapolsky begins with perception and control, the twin pillars of resilience. The first truth is simple yet profound. Stress is not merely what happens to us, it is how we perceive what happens. In primate studies, he observes that baboons with higher social status or greater predictability in their environment experience far less stress than lower-ranking peers, even when the external challenges are identical. A lesson for humans is clear. Gaining a sense of control, whether over your workload, your environment, or your reactions, dramatically reduces the biological impact of stress. A meeting with a boss becomes less like facing a lion and more like a manageable puzzle when you recognize what you can influence versus what you cannot. Next comes the power of predictability and routines. Zebras know when danger is likely. They graze, they rest, they react. Humans, however, live in chaotic schedules flooded with unexpected triggers. Sapolsky emphasizes that structuring our lives, creating predictable rhythms, and giving ourselves regular periods of rest are not luxuries, they are biological necessities. Sleep, meals, exercise, and downtime are armor against the invisible predators of chronic stress. Then comes social support, the lifeline that evolution has encoded deeply within us. Humans, like primates, are wired for connection. Strong social bonds act as buffers against stress, lowering cortisol levels, enhancing immune function, and even increasing lifespan. Isolation, by contrast, is a potent amplifier of the stress response. Sapolsky reminds us that reaching out, confiding in friends, and participating in communities are not just emotionally comforting, they are physiologically essential. Sapolsky also dives into the psychological strategies that can rewire our stress response. Techniques like reframing challenges as opportunities, mindfulness, meditation, and cognitive restructuring are not vague self-help platitudes. They are evidence-based tools that literally change how the brain reacts to stress. By shifting perception, the body's fight-or-flight system is triggered less, inflammation is reduced, and the mind gains clarity. Perhaps the most striking insight is his discussion of anticipatory stress and rumination. The zebras of the savannah do not lie awake at night worrying about the lion that may or may not appear tomorrow. Humans, by contrast, excel at predicting disaster, replaying past mistakes, and imagining endless what-ifs. Sapolsky shows that much of our chronic stress is self-generated, and therefore within our power to diminish. By practicing mindfulness, focusing on actionable problems, and letting go of imagined threats, we can quiet the constant hum of cortisol that assaults our body. Finally, he emphasizes physical outlets and lifestyle interventions. Exercise is a natural stress antidote, not just for the body, but for the mind. Physical activity mimics the stress response, allowing cortisol to rise and fall in healthy bursts, while simultaneously boosting endorphins and resilience. Diet, sleep hygiene, and avoidance of chronic stimulants or depressants further modulate our biological stress machinery, turning the body from a battlefield back into a sanctuary. Sapolsky's brilliance lies in showing that stress mastery is not about eliminating stress. It is about living wisely with it, understanding it, and using it strategically. The path to resilience is layered: biological awareness, psychological reframing, social connection, and disciplined lifestyle practices all converge to allow humans to flourish in a world that will never stop roaring. By the conclusion of Part 3, we see the full arc of Sapolsky's vision. Stress is neither villain nor inevitability. It is a signal, a tool, and a challenge. The zebras of the savannah survive because they respond well to stress and return to calm. Humans, with knowledge, awareness, and deliberate practice, can do the same, achieving a life of balance, health, and freedom from the silent predators within. Key takeaways from Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. 1. Stress is natural, but chronic stress is a silent destroyer. Understanding that the stress response is biologically designed for survival helps us reframe our relationship with it. The problem arises not from the stress itself, but from the fact that modern humans activate this system constantly for non-life-threatening situations. Recognizing this is the first step toward reclaiming health and longevity. 2. Perception, control, and social support are your greatest defenses. Sapolsky's research shows that control over your environment, predictability in routines, and strong social connections drastically reduce the physiological impact of stress. This insight transforms how we approach challenges, less as threats, more as manageable events, allowing the body to relax, recover, and thrive. Coping strategies are practical and evidence-based, from exercise to mindfulness, from cognitive reframing to structured routines. Sapolsky provides a roadmap for managing stress scientifically. These practices are not just mental habits. They physically alter the body's stress response, lower disease risk, and enhance overall well-being. In the end, Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers is more than a book about stress. It is a guide to understanding the magnificent machinery of our bodies, the subtle psychology of our minds, and the tools we possess to live with calm, health, and purpose. It is a call to awareness, a blueprint for resilience, and a reminder that while we may imagine lions around every corner, we always have the power to graze in peace once more. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries.